Welcome to yet one of our exciting episodes. I'm glad that you're able to join us today. And today we're going to cover one of those things some people hate, some people like, some people want to try out, but it's not easy. It's about our financial life. And in particular, today we're talking about budgeting. If you look at a budget, for me, I use it as a means of tracking where is my money going? How am I spending my money? How do I need to make adjustments? Where do I make that adjustment? So it's about crafting that comprehensive and effective tool that is going to help you achieve your financial well-being. So it's going to help you look at and handle your day-to-day expenses. It's a powerful tool which I believe everyone should have. So if you look at the basics of budgeting, first of all, you're trying to assess your income. Where is your income coming from? If you look at how much you are earning in a particular month, in a particular year, where is that money coming from? So it is important that you understand where your funds are coming from. Otherwise, it will help you plan and say that, okay, yes, I'm expecting this much in this period, and this is how I'm going to use it. But if you don't know what you're expecting, then you have a big problem. For most of us, our incomes are made up of our salaries. For others, we have some gigs in there. For others, probably you have double jobs. So incomes come from various sources, and in future we should talk about things like passive income. So you could have your salary income, but you could also have other means of income. Then you need to understand what your expenses are made of. Remember, your expenses will have a component that is fixed, and then you also have a component that is varying. Like each and every particular month, there are those things that you make payments for: rent, fuel. You're paying probably you're paying fees somewhere in the course of the year. So there are those expected payments that are going to come up, and they are more also the same amount. Even the fixed payments will vary in terms of how much you paid last month and how much you paid this month. Those expenses you expect not to change at all. Like if you're buying data, maybe you're buying data of a specific amount, so you don't expect to change unless you overuse your data. If you are living in a certain house, unless you have traveled and you have gone on holiday and you're spending a little bit more on lodgings, your rent is not likely to change. So there are those expenses that are fixed and those expenses that vary. It's important that you understand of my expenditure, what is varying? Are my groceries varying? Is my entertainment varying? Am I eating out more than I ate out in the past for 4 or 3 months ago? So that is the starting point. Where is your money coming from? Your expenditures. Which ones are fixed and which ones are variable? So it is important that as you allocate your income, you know where you're allocating the funds. So I know some of you could have heard about the rule of 50, 30, 20. So it is a simple rule that which could make a big change, a big significance in your life. What we're talking about the 50, what are the 50? 50 are 50% of your income you're allocating it to your needs. You guessed it right. So there are things that you need and there are things that you want. So 50% goes to needs, 30% goes to wants, and then of course the 20% you're looking at it as something that you can put aside for a rainy day. When you look at your expenses, what are the things that you actually need, you cannot do without? Of course, things like housing, things like utilities. They're going to kick you out of the house if you're not paying for rent. You need to pay for rent. You need to pay for groceries. If you're working and you are commuting from one place to another, you need to pay for transportation, insurance. For most of us, some of you don't consider insurance as a very key issue, but in some areas in the world, you have to do with insurance. So those are some of the things that you may refer to as your needs, that are things that you really need to cater for. Then there are those things that you're going to refer to as wants. You want to go and eat out with your friend. It has just use the word want. Then you want to go and have some watch some movies, enjoy with your life while maintaining, of course, you make the money, you need to enjoy the money as well. That's income that you're allocating to things like your hobbies. They're not very important, but they're also important. You want them. So, and I could refer to it as more of like discretionary spending. Dining, eating out, hobbies. So those are things that you want. Then of course the other component of your income is the 20% that you want to reserve for savings. Where are you putting your money for savings? wait, that is one of the things we're going to talk about in the future. So don't stay around, keep watching our channel. We're going to talk about savings, we're going to talk about investments, we're going to talk about debt management. Remind me if I forget, but these are some of the things that we are planning to talk about. So we want to make this as useful as possible for you. So now that you know where you know how you're going to spread your income into 50% in needs, 30% your wants, and 20% for saving, and also in there you could also include debt management with 20%. So what are really the what's next in line? List all your expenditures. You know now from your expenditures that some of them are monthly expenses, some of them come up as quarterly expenses, some of them are fixed, some of them are variable. List them all down and into an Excel or into whatever means that you have. It's important that as you list your expenses, you need to prioritize on debt. Many people have debt, and it's like part of life. You want to acquire a house, you want to acquire a car. I wouldn't advise you to do that, but there are things that you want to spend on that which money you may not have. Even borrowing from just a friend, you're incurring debt. So it's important that you prioritize paying debt off, especially debt that is high interest paying, that has high interest attached to it. So you focus on clearing what is high interest as you pay also what is outstanding in terms of low interest debt. So that is important. Then, of course, one of the other key things in the practical steps that you're going to look at is an emergency fund. If you woke up and you're not feeling well, you're sick, you need to be hospitalized, you're not be able to work for a month or two, where is that money coming from? You need to have what you refer to as an emergency fund. How much you need to have into that? Wait, that we are going to tell you very soon. So you need to have what you refer to as an emergency fund. Maybe your car broke down and you need to take it for repairs. You need to have money that is going to take care of this. And of course, on a regular basis, you review these things. You look at your list of expenses, you look at what you have as debt, you think about how much are you putting aside in the emergency fund and adjust accordingly. Either increase your savings or reduce on some of the expenditures and eliminate some of them. And we're in an era where there's a lot of technology that can help us. There are budgeting apps everywhere. Just go to your Play Store and look for an app to help you with budgeting. I don't want to talk about specific apps, but for me, is an app I'm using that is really very, very, very important. That plays a key role. So you can leverage on these tools. Of course, if you're looking for an app, it should be user friendly. Maybe it has some automation features. It should be able to customize your budget. And then when you look in there, maybe they have various types of accounts that are able to take care of your day-to-day needs, customize it to your needs. And if you have an account for 3 or 4 accounts, bank accounts, you should be able to factor all that. You have an investment account, you should be able to factor that into that. Cash accounts, if you're spending dollars, you're spending shilling, you're spending euros, it should be able to factor that. So it can also have a multi-currency aspect. So if you want to customize your budget, the app should be able to help you with that. There are a number of those that are available on the market. If you want some more tips into what these apps could look like, you can chat me up, put it in your comments. You can put something in the comments and I'll give you some tips. And then, of course, it should also be able to give you some statistics on how you're spending. Where is your money going? Are you on track? Are you off track? If you look at the last 3 or 4 months, where have you spent most of the money? So if you look at your loans, how much is outstanding? How much you have as credit card debt? And what's the impact of this all in your life? Then, of course, one of the most key and important things of late is that you should be able to back up this information. If you're updating your app on a daily basis, you could wake up one day, you're changing a phone. If you change a phone, you move on to another phone, you should be able to find the data there. Or you should be able to have a way of transferring that data. Or if at all your phone crashed, you should be able to get the details that you entered 3 or 4 months ago. I've had instances where I've lost much of my data that I've used in the budgeting app, but it is still good. I'll still recommend it to you anyway. That backing up bit is very, very crucial. Then, of course, if you have forgotten, your bit could be able to send you some reminders. But if you are not good at apps, you can also use an Excel sheet. It's more complicated, An app is really way more customized, but you may have to learn a few things about accounting if you're going to use the app. But then there are also online banking tools which you can use, take advantage of. So as we conclude this episode, I want to talk about just a few things that you need to take into consideration as you budget. Be realistic. Friends, be realistic. You don't want to save 80% of your income and then what are you going to live on? Unless you have other sources of income. But we're talking about sources of income, you're factoring in either salary and non-salary sources of income. So you be realistic, live a normal life, be able to eat, go out, drink, party, and but be able to carry out the budgeting process as well. Then, of course, one other thing that is very critical is you need to really work on that emergency fund. It is like, it's not an insurance policy of sort, but it will be there to help you take care of things that come up as unexpected expenditures. And usually these are things that are expensive. And these are the things that can take you back to, like here we say, take you back to the village. So it's important that you prioritize the emergency fund. Have something to put aside. How much you put aside, that we're going to cover. We shall cover soon. Most importantly, this is all about budgeting today. We're talking about anything to do with budgeting and only about budgeting. So what I'm trying to say that as you budget, have an emergency fund first before you even think about saving. Because yes, you can save into an emergency fund, you're still saving, but make sure you plan for the emergency fund. And of course, other key tip that I could look at right now is that regularly assess. Look at it and not just. Let it not be something that you just tick off on a daily basis, but let it have an impact in your life. You know how much you're spending on eating out. You know how much you're spending on transportation. Of course, the tool should be able to tell you you're going off limit. So what actions you need to take. So that means that you are regularly looking at it, assessing and adjusting accordingly. So it's important that is one of the key things. Otherwise, it doesn't serve its purpose if you're not able to look at it on a regular basis and adjust accordingly. As I conclude, I know budgeting to some people is a bit of a nag. Or they look at someone making a budget and they wonder, oh, it's really in this era and age, you're trying to be mean. That's what they will say. But I think it is something that's important. Look at the rule of 50, 30, 20. Please, that's a good takeaway and ensure that you're trying to follow it or adjust accordingly. You could say that, yes, the rule is saying 50, 30, 20, but for me, I want to save 30% of my income. So you change maybe your expenditures to 40 and 30. So that gives you a bit more money to put aside for the rainy day. Of course, make use of technology. Ask your friends at work, your friends, where you spend your time. If your friends are not adding value to you, maybe they shouldn't be good friends to stick around with. So align your budget with your aspiration, with your financial plan, with your family goals, and make sure that it matches. Everything is moving in the right direction. So it's important as we close that you take control of your finances to build a secure future and achieve your financial aspirations using budgeting as one of the tools. So as we close, if you haven't subscribed, please make sure you subscribe, like this video, and share it with a friend. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for listening in to us, and then have a lovely day or a lovely evening or a lovely morning wherever you are. Bye bye.